Abusua Sam Nate George, Ningo Pram MP, Echo vetting committee no enim, any omoko, vetting, na vetting na abusua no wedding. Topics we were and they become once you be video no in two folds. Part 1 ni me part obomodi say obe subscribe to your YouTube channel no. Na we notification button no so. Part 2 no so ba wasan so enya ahwe. And some more can found say reduction of data board din na wagana ye better so afi registration of SIM cards and also beba so cyber security in Ghana and also attack is issue and afi AI the new technology about Ghana artificial intelligence and also ebusuan okasa fa. This is how ne vetting acquire abusuan questions you be from the majority part no abusuan. It was marvelous. The longest vetting akoso any 5 hours 2 minutes abusuan na vetting no anwedin bomodi say obe subscribe to your YouTube channel me notification button no so na share video no more because you person video we
ko vela atase video de enko vela mame enko vela ana tablenga sa
you must chop hot asemne diloto hey aye
abusuan honorable Sam Nate George Ningo Pram MP appointment committee no ama ye vet na abusuan say obeye minister for communication digitalization and innovation na abusuan in all no questions omo vetting na last for 5 hours 2 minutes 5 hours 2 minutes and na okoye no majority no ebisa no 23 questions afi minority ebisa no 218 questions abusuan out of the questions no mu bisa no questions no their farm manifesto NDC for edeba ye no na ye 2 questions current affairs and your man Ghana FMC current issues course wa Ghana no and also omo bisa no 11 questions and assurance and your man committee no say ono Sam Nate George no assure me say oba by hook or crook obey no so ebusian bisa no 2 questions and questions e fa ni CV ho and your man ono Sam Nate George present mom bi ebi ti say baby ote ne yere baby ayewo no ni ade no yebisa no 15 questions and personal questions I for no ankasa no so yebisa no 18 questions ne comment any amendment opese oye ni ade ni nyina no yebisa no 1 question afi ensema wakeka to wadada comment bia waye because obi anim say Sam Nate George there or you be very loud and so yebisa no 51 questions abusua ene ye ba be hwe nessa more kind far a reduction of data re-registration of SIM and cyber security afi yewia ye be hwe AI so ensema okafa because minister designate for a digitalization communication and innovation there. No matter training any bedu hunkomo cyber security AI afi SIM registration and afi reduction of data cost. I was going to honorable Sam Nate George appointment committee in any vetting committee in any more on commonano mubisa say no obaswa adeba akwa Ghana for esu ho pa ye the amount of data na service no so aya na telco sai wo Ghana obi gina won chen wan kasa wo phone kura extra phone da obefre phone yes it cannot be reached obi gina won chen pa nipa no o send message or say message number.
The quality of service. That's where consumers and customers have a problem. And that's where we all face the challenge, where you're making calls and the rate of call drops and call failures are extremely high. I agree with you that there is work that needs to be done from the ministry by way of policy through the regulator, the National Communications Authority, to ensure that the KPIs for the MNOs and service providers is enhanced and that we ensure strict adherence to it. If you set the KPIs low, every MNO is going to pass it. But the question is, are we having the real consumer experience that citizens have to have? As Minister Designate, I think no. I think that there's a lot of work that the telcos have to do. Government also has to do some work, because for you to get better quality of experience, you need to allocate more spectrum to the MNOs. So as Minister Designate, if approved by this House and I become the minister, one of the things we'll work with the regulators to do is to make more spectrum available to the MNOs. However, we'll be raising the KPIs and ensuring that the standards are met. And I will not be a minister who will be afraid to impose fines on MNOs who fail to meet the quality of service. Ghanaians deserve the best quality of service. And we would crack the whip where necessary, but we would also support the MNOs to ensure that they get what is needed to provide us the best quality of service.
Then again, auto data, yeah, like it seems say data wedding power Ghana. Honorable Sam Nate George say ono no unsuru say obeka che telcos ni say enoma omo ye no the service na omo dey ma amount for the people are not enjoying the service.
I hold the view respectfully that we could get more value for what we pay as a country for data. I've already begun conversations on the instructions of His Excellency the President with stakeholders to ensure that we get more value. More value could be in reduction in prices or increases in offerings. So it could be that if you paid, for example, 100 Ghana cedis and you got 100 gig of data, we could maintain the same 100 Ghana cedis but give you 150 gig of data. So that's more value. Or the 100 gig could drop to 75 cedis. There are different models around it. But like I said in an earlier answer, we're working around what goes into the cost element, largely electricity, and some work has begun on that. So yes, we hope to see prices of data hopefully drop before the end of this year. Thank you.
Into Honorable Sam Nate George Oba, he will see to it say data say 5 Ghana cedis na beto, there will be increase na service na obenya no kra obenya good service. Ya make am what so yes say what to data and so also data ma what to data pa oba uye bibia nyeye. Sa no many na obehwe say telcos no will be held responsible. Afi say obi be free obi nipa kro no the phone is so pass so your friend and yes cannot be rich, and so the telcos will be held responsible, and particularly with the issue of data no obehwe kwanya Ghana for betumi enya data, because we are in a digital world where everything uses data. And data no entumi mbeye den because data boy dia na wankasa innovations near the idea of person. Someone would need a lot of data before say obetumi access information, and sending information be very accessible. Telcos for no to no mo betum ana say ebia first nanka auto 10 Ghana cedis a yebema 10 gig of data. Sisia no auto 10 Ghana cedis a obehwe say onu be make improvement ama yebema ebia 15 gig of data and I say 20 gig of data.
More value could be in reduction in prices or increases in offerings. So it could be that if you paid, for example, 100 Ghana cedis and you got 100 gig of data, we could maintain the same 100 Ghana cedis but give you 150 gig of data. So that's more value. Or the 100 gig could drop to 75 cedis. There are different models around it. But like I said in an earlier answer, we're working around what goes into the cost element, largely electricity, and some work has begun on that. So yes, we hope to see prices of data hopefully drop before the end of this year. Thank you.
I was after telcos, neka say musu no san so editu bia say obesan so aye re-registration of a SIM card. Re-registration of SIM cards no na che say yes SIM na ya register dada no. Yes san so aba register bi. And no be say Honorable Sam George, na wo say re-registration of SIM card wo say aye dada. Enti wo ma all san so abemo minor boka na aye re-registration no see there bi. The re-registration is going to be from the NIA and Afenyo telcos any re-registration. Indeed, NIA, National Identification Authority, any telcos and this one here say wo asemesi anasa abentin anasa wa nipa awo no I was say onkodi line onko MTN for office enko no to distract government business the economy no that be we know is going to make sure say information National Identification Authority for no they will give it to the telcos or the information that the telcos have. These two people will merge together. Now, so they will interchange information.
Nobody, no Ghanaian will lose their SIM cards. They have to do nothing. It's going to be a technology-driven exercise between the NCA, the MNOs, and the National Identification Authority. If there are any disparities in the records, such individuals will be notified to visit their service provider. But majority, we believe that over 90% of SIM holders would not have to visit their service providers. So there will be no activity done. You just get notification that the verification has happened back end and you're verified.
So just to ask if there's no cost that will be incurred during the process.
I'm coming there. Yes. Will there be cost incurred? There will be cost, but will be borne by the MNOs because it serves the MNOs' own purpose for them to be able to know who is holding their SIMs. Because if they can't identify who are holding the SIMs, they are liable to fines from the NCA. They would rather have us do a clean identity SIM register than to get fines.
Thank you, Honorable.
There have to be some synergy. National Identification Authority, any telcos no ebenya send your SIM registration no one kasa wo fia then they will alert you say your SIM registration has been updated because say NIA wo particulars wo Ghana card na wo information nyina wo so a na say wo telcos MTN and say Vodafone and say Tigo Airtel Tigo and say BBM also o customer no information if we search for your client and as a customer our NIA for feed man then we merge the information together registration and osanso can say nipa kakra bi and abeko telcos no because maybe no more our problem be our telcos no a system and as visa but apart from that the exercise a registration of SIM card or ban there's no going to be any cost never any too outrageous and telcos are going to bear the cost because also the kind of customers are money because obi transfer sika ko go obi phone so na illegal there what telcos you want to find a person. If you want to find a person you will need the person's identity. Obekwa NIA for na akwaje sa information nti say NIA any telcos no enya sa synergy enya sa connection no mo fuse all information together be very smooth after SIM registration na ba cyber security so our Ghana obisa say cyber security in Ghana is one of the topmost issue and there has been a lot of cyber security attack our Ghana so Onono Sam George, Obabeye a communication, digitalization, and innovation minister. No. And then Obeya fa
the cybersecurity of our country is a critical one that sits and straddles the Ministry of Communications, Digital Technologies and Innovation, and our national security apparatus. In fact, when you read the National Security Strategy document that was prepared in 2020, I believe that paragraph 3.4 on page 41 speaks about our cybersecurity preparedness as a nation. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, in 2020, we passed Act 1038, which is the Cybersecurity Act. As a member of the committee at the time, I played a key role in the formulation of that legislation. And when you speak about funding cybersecurity, I'm sure that the outgone minister will bear witness and the members of the committee that when the bill came to Parliament from Cabinet, it did not have anything about funding cybersecurity. It was my personal intervention and amendments to the bill that introduced Section 23 of the bill, which is the funds of the bill. I would say that it is just sheer providence that 4 years after the bill came into law, the outgone government was unable to operationalize the fund. And I, who brought it into the bill, today sits here as a nominee of the president to superintend this bill. I give you the assurance that the brain and thinking behind me introducing funding for the bill, and if you read it, I identify a number of sources to fund cybersecurity. One of them is grants from the government. Another is allocations from government or grants from individual donor agencies like the Mastercard Foundation and Rockefeller Foundation. Another one is actually the establishment of the Cyber Fund, which will be a dedicated fund for beneficiaries of cybersecurity. So I think I just share providence that when approved by this House, and I assume office as Minister for Communications, the thoughts that came through my mind in September 2020, when I introduced this as an amendment, will see the light of day under President John Dramani Mahama. I thank you.